Did you guys ever see Outsourced on NBC? Yeah, that was enough for me.
What? You don't like Indian people?
What is your next scoop?
It's not a scoop. It's a new segment. Oh. It's called Pat Trash's Judd Apatow and that horrible bitch wife of his Leslie Mann.
Let's do it.
Okay. I've learned that the audience is in love with my personal life and my personal stories. And my hatred of celebrity. So get ready for the scoop.
6 people.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another podcast network presents PMZ, which stands for Patrick MZ. Bum, bum, bum.
Go ahead, Nick.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bam, bum, 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 bum.
Okay, so do you want to set this evening up a little bit, Pat?
All right,
we've got some big news to get into.
I've got it. Enter Jerry's Kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. You have to change that up. It sounds like the Seinfeld base.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I mean, you're just wrong about that. But anyways, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So this PMZ, this is my show that I do on this platform.
Stands
of another
for Patrick
podcast.
MZ.
Yes. Fan favorite. And we just keep this little part of our platform behind a paywall.
It's Patreon exclusive. It's for the people who pay us because we like them more than you if you're listening to this and you don't pay us. We still love you, but we don't love you as much.
I don't love them at all. You're very cheap. You gobble up that free content. You're laughing your asses off in the bus to work.
Yeah,
or
fuck
the car.
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to wet your beaks a little bit here with this PMZ. We're going to start off by kind of, I guess, breaking the news or breaking down our thoughts on the Clare Makes My Skin Crawly controversy of her leaving the show or perhaps being fired from the show because she's a pain in the ass.
We'll get into it. But yes, as this is the Another Bachelor podcast feed, we did, feel it was our duty to kind of break down all the happenings on that's been going on with Clare Makes My Skin Crawly, the 55-year-old bachelorette. But after which, we're going to get into a couple other stories, plenty of other stories.
Well, let me give the tease, dude.
Well, I just want to say that PMZ is, besides being a vanity project for Patrick, it's also a place where we just break the biggest news, the hot goss, Patrick specifically. And it just so happens one of the biggest, hottest gosses is Clare Clawley.
Yeah, and then we'll get into the Axios interview with John Swan and Trump later.
Axios
politics, dude.
Axios popped onto the scene, and I was like, this is it. This is a neutral thing. And they very quickly plummeted.
No, they're
Hey, both of you guys, shut up. Okay, so we're going to start off by breaking down the Clare Makes My Skin Crawly controversy. Right. And then later on in the show, I got a new segment called Patty Trash's Judd Apatow and that horrible bitch wife of his, Leslie Mann.
Yeah.
Get ready for that scoop.
Your wife worked for them. We have inside info. They're horrible people.
Not anymore, and she didn't sign an NDA, so you guys will get the scoop on this, and it's
wow,
juicy,
disgusting people.
It's absolutely insane to me that in 2020 the people of that affluence, stature, and so much to lose would not have someone with inside info either research them and find out their husband has like a gossip rag podcast, and then also have her sign an NDA.
You know what? Shame on them, but good for us. All right. Then later on, I'm going to talk about that cuckolded Brian Austin Green and what's happening with him in that.
Don't know who that is.
Bag.
Brian Austin Green? You don't know who that is?
I'm excited to learn.
90210.
Megan Fox.
Nope.
All right. And then I'm going to get into me trashing Ashton Kutcher because he is tone deaf as fuck and he's a dumbass and a bunch of other stuff in a fun segment called A Few of Patty's Favorite Things Here. And that is a fan favorite.
Yeah, the people who pay us know it well and love it so much.
So can we get started? Jesus Christ.
Into it. Pat, what's your first skip?
All right. So for anybody who's been living under a fucking rock who's a huge Bachelor fan and hasn't heard yet, Clare Makes My Skin Crawly. Her season ain't happening, or it kind of is. All right. So I want to first say this. We announced it on our show, Another Bachelor podcast, months ago that this wasn't going to happen with Clare.
Was never going to happen. She sucks. No one likes her. No one wants to watch her. It's too pathetic. It's like watching an old dog die for 9 weeks.
Well, a lot of baby birdies...
Take it behind the barn and shoot.
Yeah, just kill it.
Exactly. Well, a lot of the baby birdies gave us some pushback when we first... brought this up early on, and isn't it crazy that 3 men in their 30s knew a little better?
Well, you're not in your 30s, though.
I'm doing an average.
I'm not in my 30s. You're 64 years old.
Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let's start off with a timeline because I think that's the best way to kind of get through the events that have taken place, that have transpired. Sure. All right, so first off, the end of Peter Weber's season ends, which totally sucked. It was horrible. And it is announced, to the shock of all of us, that Clare Makes My Skin Crawly was going to be the Bachelorette.
Yeah. You know, the one that married Benoit on the Winter Olympics?
Yeah.
I'm the only one that watched that, and I forgot about that.
And it
She got
wasn't the
engaged.
Winter Olympics.
It was a Winter Games.
Winter Games.
It totally sucked and it was horrible. And it was really sad to see her on it. It wasn't the Winter Games?
No. It was awesome.
Oh, sorry.
I know.
Okay, so they make this announcement. Now, I have a few things to say to that. First off, we knew at that time that Planet Earth was not going to ever let this happen.
No, Mother Gaia hates Claire.
Big time.
Yeah.
Okay, but the reason she was chosen, in my theory, was coming off Peter Weber's season, there were way too many girls in their early 20s. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I think that was the problem with it. So normally we'd launch The Bachelorette off of who Peter didn't pick or picked and then dumped, what have you. That's how it's normally worked. I think they were thinking at the time, we need someone who's established name recognition.
And we can't have a black person because America will be grossed out.
Absolutely. We didn't want that, right? And so we need someone a little older who theoretically could, in fact, get engaged, then get married, and then we can make more money. Mickey Mouse would make a little money off of them. Okay, so get this. So we don't hear anything of this because the world falls apart in the months that follow February after the announcement. We have the riots, coronavirus, fucking earthquakes. If you're living in Los Angeles, the world is ending. Yet, I get a text from a close friend on July 10th that tells me she has 3 friends that work on it and they start filming on Monday. This was the text. This is how detailed I am. Hey, just wanted to give you a heads up in case you weren't in the know. I have friends that work on The Bachelor, Bachelorette. They're going to film The Bachelorette in a bubble starting next week, and it's only going to be for 6 weeks.
Did you say that's how detailed you are?
Well, no, I mean, that's the text. I'm saying they send me the info. I'm like Reality Steve, but I'm not annoying.
This really is a vanity project.
All right, so I'm doing a date. Here's the date here. That would be the closest Monday. So they started filming on July 13th.
Yeah.
Okay. On Monday, they had said that Clare would not film on that Saturday. So she was done filming by that Saturday. So if you do the math here, it was less than 2 weeks after her starting filming where she said she didn't want to do the show anymore.
A very tense 8 days.
Or she got fired. Or I don't know. I'm not buying it. I'm just saying that. If you want to swallow this all. Okay. So
you Darvish over here.
So here's some interesting news. E! News said that the reason Clare gave up the show was because she fell in love with Dale. Let me look for his last name. Sorry. Dale Moss, a 31-year-old guy. I guess he is...
Is he addicted to Copenhagen? It sounds like he's addicted to Copenhagen.
He's a really good-looking guy. He's from South Dakota. He 31 years old. So the story is she gave him the first impression rose like on week 1. And there's a little news that perhaps they were communicating prior to filming.
Great.
Okay, so they were already kind of connected. So she said after she gave him the first impression rose, they hang out for a couple days. She announces to producers, which came as a surprise to them. That was an article today. The producers were all shocked by this. That she says, I'm done. I found my guy. So let's do the math here. So in 2 weeks, a 39-year-old hair cutter
55.
Fell in love with the guy she's going to pick and says, I don't need to do any more of this experiment.
Doesn't make
to vet
sense.
The others.
She's too big of a fame whore. There's no way that she would give up all of those hours on television, all that exposure, just because she wants to find love. She doesn't want to find love.
Dylan, I like this. Something's going on here.
Yeah.
Something is happening here.
She stabbed. She threatened to kill somebody. They said we can't do it. You're crazy.
I think the tides have turned. BLM. Mickey has a gun to her head and saying, you better go quietly, go along with this story that we will make up.
I like that.
And we will put in Tayshia and solve racism.
One, I think they are going to solve racism, but 2, we were saying that for a while. I mean, we were saying there's literally zero chance that Claire is going to make it to air because of the 9-week dog getting killed type thing. It's just too pathetic. And also, white woman, not gonna fucking work. Claire, this whole thing has been set up to. It was never gonna work for you. Your whole life has been like this. I'm sorry to say.
But did she know that it would go to the entire planet Earth that say, no fucking way? hell or high water, Claire, you're not getting your day on that platform with someone proposing to you.
People in Singapore hate you. They hate you, Claire.
Going back to the conspiracy theory, if you want to call it that, I feel like it's the most plausible scenario that I laid out. I've said before how impressed I am. Every year, the producers somehow make the storyline like something that has never happened before. We had the Ari breakup. We had all these different, the Colton defense thing. That was the whole thing. Like, I am just more believing there's a dark room on every one of these sets, and they just get threatened to do exactly what they should do. And maybe fear makes them all better actors, because it seems pretty authentic.
We've talked about it before. I mean, people have called us ridiculous that he's animated and he doesn't exist in this plane, and that he couldn't pick up a weapon and hold it at somebody's temple until it left an impression in their skin. But I mean, you idiots, you're asleep. This mouse is threatening to kill people.
Can I throw a few theories out there? One is that production really didn't want Claire, but were kind of contractually obligated. This would have been just weird to do a 180 and say, we're not doing this, we're just picking a black bachelorette, because they had already announced that Matt Cameron for the February version as the bachelorette, he was already picked, right? Yeah. So
hilarious little misstep there, but it's Matt James, but he's friends with Tyler Cameron.
Damn it!
And they are kind of a little tag team.
Matt James, forgive me. But it got me to thinking that perhaps production wasn't as nice to her. And also, I don't think she can helm a show on her own.
No.
She's been on Bachelor in Paradise and obviously as a contestant on Juan Pablo's season, but it's a different thing to now play the game of...
She was a failure as a contestant. Mm-hmm. She was terrible as a contestant. She was one of those girls where you're like, oh... You can't be yourself because you feel like you're on TV, but it's way more sad than that. You have no idea who you are. Mm-hmm. And there's no way she found that out in all of these years chasing a whisper of fame.
Well, and also she's done these short stints on this show, which is easy lifting for her. And let me throw this out there too. On reality TV, having been on a reality TV show called Tour Wars, which didn't work out, but I was the main guy.
You guys got to see this pilot.
I'll put it up on Patreon. Okay. It didn't work because I was older and I wasn't going to be manipulated by producers anymore. At one point I said, what are we doing today? They said, well, you have a competitor down the street and you're going to antagonize him. I said, all right, cool. And it's going to be a girl company. It's 2 girls. We want you to take their kiosk and throw it in on Hollywood Boulevard. I was like, what? I'm the good guy, right? They said, yo, you're great. It will be funny. Everyone will laugh. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You're not going to manipulate me into doing that. That is stupid. Who wrote this? That's horrible. So I said no. And then I'd hear the producers talking about how difficult I was. And anyway, the show didn't work out, but it's a wonderful pilot. I'll put it up on Patreon.
Yeah.
So Clare Clawley is too old to be playing this game on reality TV. I think she probably didn't want to do what they were telling her to do, didn't want to play the game, didn't want to manipulate other people. I'll give her that credit.
Not quite young and dumb enough.
And then just under the weight of the pressure, she just says, fuck it, I'm in love. I want out of here. Right. I'll get my 2 weeks or 3 episodes out, because that's what it turns out they're going to do.
Like the
is
weight
we
of the
are going to see a bit of her journey, and then they're going to pivot into Tayshia showing up.
Well, so what do we think about Tayshia?
Love her.
I think they probably should have just gone with her initially. I don't know why we needed Claire. She fits the bill. She's of the age. I think she's in her early 30s. She's got the name recognition. She's fun.
No, she is a snake. She is a snake.
You don't think that could come in handy?
I do think it'll come in handy. Tayshia is the perfect person for The Bachelorette. She is stunningly beautiful. She is the color that America needs right now. Mm-hmm. And she is also has this facade of, good girl, a Midwestern or wherever the fuck she's from, kind of.
You'll see it.
What?
The OC, I think.
Yeah, so Midwest and
sure.
and but remember, these people are succubuses. She is doing this not to find love, but because she doesn't want to work a day job, and this is a much quicker route to making somewhere between $100,000 and $115,000.
Just sitting on your ass filming videos.
That's it.
All right, I'll wrap this up. I know I've gone on pretty.
We got to get to Judd Apatow.
Sure. But hold on. There's a few losers that come out of this announcement in my mind.
Okay.
One is Matt James, who's already been announced as the first Black Bachelor. Reason being, is we've already checked a box off with intersectionality, with having Tayshia be the Bachelorette. And now we'll have fun learning her journey and what guy she may pick. And half that cast is African-American men.
Oh, got it.
And we may just decide that we like one of these contestants better that just sticks out.
Then the person we don't fucking know, who only diehard fans have gotten to know through Tyler's Instagram.
Exactly. So Matt, you may be a loser in all this, but let me say this. When the negotiations go for how much you're going to be paid, just take the low money, buddy.
Take the 12
Do not have your agent at ICM start going hard on this. They will dump you as fast as they can. Trust me on that. Second loser in all this is one of my favorite contestants, one of my favorite people in Bachelor Nation. That is one Rachel Lindsay. She will no longer have the moniker or the bragging rights to say a African-American bachelorette, because it will be Tayshia. Well, she'll have that, but without who was the first person that won American Idol? Who gives a fuck, right?
Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, that's right. All right. Bad example.
First concert ever.
Is that right? All right. Well, all right. Sometimes you guys will, that doesn't. My point is he's still there.
Justin Guarini was a runner-up.
Okay. Rachel Lindsay still now, because Tayshia is going to fucking shine. She's going to be fun. Rachel Lindsay was fucking annoying. Tayshia's going to have a great time with this. Now,
so well said.
Now, let me say this. I need to conclude with this very tumultuous time in Bachelor Nation with a quote by Martin Luther King. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, Rachel Lindsay. Listen to this level of narcissism. This is Rachel Lindsay, a quote today. When I stepped back as Bachelorette, I wanted to pave a way for more diversity, for more people who look like me, who didn't look like the typical lead. To see another Bachelorette of color, I'm thrilled. I have been fighting for inclusion, and I have said that Tayshia would be an excellent Bachelorette. So I am more than happy to pass the torch. Are you listening to this? Listen to me. This is the words of a narcissist.
Rachel, you don't matter.
This doesn't matter.
One iota. You do not matter. You've made no impression. Well, I mean, maybe a little bit of impression, but it's fake. It means nothing, Rachel. You sit on a throne of lies, to quote the great Will Smith.
Except for the fact that, like I mentioned, she has inspired a whole young group of ladies that they can one day grow up to be huge guns. Except that.
All right, so let's move on to Judd.
Oh boy!
Hey there, it's Dylan, one of the hosts of this here podcast. Yeah, I mean, there's just a hilarious story that he tells about Judd. I mean, he talks about that Brian Austin Gag guy from whatever. I'm not really I don't even remember. I wasn't even really listening to them when they were talking about it. But there's so much fun stuff up ahead in the remainder of this show that you do not get to hear because you are not paying us at patreon.com/another podcast network. If you do, you will be blessed. Your ears will be blessed with the remainder of this episode, the hot, juicy Judd Apatow and Leslie Mann gossip, along with video of us, Love is Blind recaps, Juan Pablo recaps. We're doing another movie podcast where we break down films. Are you kidding me? That's going to be the most hilarious and most amazing podcast of all time. Also, we have the Flight of the Phoenix tier, where if you pay us $15,000, we will fuck each other on camera. So guys, head on over to patreon.com/another podcast network. Help us help ourselves. Okay. Love you. Bye.